Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mighty G. It's time to review the latest adaptation of Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. This time, this was written and directed by Guillermo Del Toro. It is his version of Frankenstein.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mighty G. Now, Frankenstein is a 2025 American Gothic drama horror film. It was written and directed by Guillermo Del Toro, based on the novel of the same name by Mary Shelley. Now, the film stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Felix Cremera, Christopher Waltz, and David Bradley. Now, in this film, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist, brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and the tragic creation. Oh, no, not again. Now, horror fans, there have been many films, novels, plays, and television shows and comic book adaptations of English author Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Now, the book basically talks about Dr. Victor Frankenstein. He decides he's going to find a way to cheat death after his mother dies, creates a monster out of dead party parts. It looks fine, but he's disappointed with it. He abandons the creature. The creature gets pissed off and decides to take revenge on his creator. Basically, that's what the novel is about. No, the most popular adaptation would be the 1931 Universal film Frankenstein, where Boris Karloff's portrayal of the creature would become the most popular version of Dr. Frankenstein's monster. Now, of course, we all get confused, or there was always this misnomer or mistake that the creature was called Frankenstein, but that was simply the name of his creature. Most people either called it the creature or Frankenstein's monster. Since then, there have been many different versions of Frankenstein's monster, from Mel Brooks' 1974 comedy film Young Frankenstein to Kenneth Branagh's 1994 film called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, where Robert De Niro played the creature. There have been many other particular versions of Frankenstein's monster, but those are the main two I want to talk about. We've had many, many different adaptation novels, comic books, and TV shows that have portrayed the creature. And now, famed Mexican filmmaker Guillermo del Toro, who gave us such wonderful films such as Pan's Labyrinth and Crimson Peak, brings us his version or his adaptation of Mary Shelley's famous novel. This one simply called Frankenstein. I mean, there's really no need to talk about the premise of the film since Del Toro follows the same structure that we've seen before in other films or TV shows based on Mary Shelley's novel. It just follows the same beats. We see Victor Frankenstein, he's in his nice lavish mansion. His mother dies in childbirth with his brother William. He doesn't get any type of love, respect from his father. He decides he's going to cheat death and bring something back to life, and he does with his creation. That's basically what the film follows the same beats. However, Del Toro does make some changes from the novel and films. One of the changes Victor's brother William. Now, in the novel and some film he's not even mentioned at all, but in some of the other novel, he is mentioned in the novel as William, but he gets killed by the creature early in life. But in this one, he actually gets born, and he also becomes a grown man. And Elizabeth is marrying William in this film instead of Victor. So those are some changes that he's made. There's some other changes that he makes in this film as well, but those are the two particularly interesting ones, is Elizabeth and William. Now, unlike the novel, which is told from three different perspectives, this movie is told from only two different perspectives, as opposed to the three in the novel. First of all, we have Victor's perspective, which is called Victor's tale in the first part, and the second part is the creature's tale. So we have from Victor's perspective and the creature's perspective in this film. No, first of all, the film is very slick and very gorgeous to look at. From Victor's father's estate at the beginning of the film, to Frankenstein's tower in the second part of the film, and to the icy and frozen land that takes place in the prelude and the conclusion of the film. Very great way how the Toro uses his visual style, as we've seen before in his other films. And like I said, it's very slick, very gorgeous looking film. Dan Laston, I believe is how you pronounce his name, the cinematographer who did The Shape of Water and Toro's other film, does a great job in making all the set pieces look grand, spectacle, and gothic, especially Frankenstein's tower. I think that's one of the best set pieces in the film. No, it's tall, gray, and dark. It's kind of real dominating is the base word to describe Frankenstein's tower. You can see that there's something not creepy looking, but something spectacular, something terrible is going to be created from this. And in the inside, it's gray, it's dark, it's dingy looking, and the effects and how Dan and Detroit make it look wonderful, spectacular, but also a bit, unsettling is a great way to look Frankenstein's tower. Now, despite the length of the film, it's paced nicely given the time audiences sees Victor's reason is the reason why he wants to defeat death, his arrogance with his peers, his relationship with both Elizabeth and the creature. Now, all the actors do a fine job in the roles. I love Oscar Isaac's performance as Victor Frankenstein, as he plays a man who is at first determined to prove his theory and then later on comes to regret it. There are certain scenes in the film where we get to see Victor's disgust or his arrogance when he first creates the creature and he can't get the creature to do what he expected to be and he's disappointed with it. There's some nice interaction between that one that shows his arrogance and his disappointment with the creature. No, I do love the chemistry that he and Mia Goth has, as we can see the attraction that Victor and Elizabeth have for each other. But I actually really enjoy the interaction that Elizabeth has with the creature. Like unlike some of the other adaptations that we've had with Frankenstein, Elizabeth is not afraid of him, and she speaks kind and gentle to him. And this is the first decent encounter that the creature has with a human. I thought it was really, really nice way to display that aspect of Elizabeth in this particular film. I also really enjoyed the time that the creature has with the blind man. As veteran actor David Bradley does a great job as always, as he and Jacob Eldy have such great chemistry together. They're very good. Speaking of Jacob, he's pretty good as a creature, showing how scared he is after being created, doesn't know who he is, and then after learning the truth, we get to see his anger and his frustration that he has towards Victor. Now, while the film does look fantastic, I didn't like the makeup effects that Del Toro uses for the creature. It looks similar to how the engineers looked in Prometheus. And Del Toro really doesn't do or add anything different to this film as well. It's like we've seen this all before, and yeah, it looks great. It looks fantastic. The actors do a good job, but it's like we've seen this before. It doesn't really do anything new or different to make this film stand out from the other Frankenstein films that we've seen before. Like there's something missing. Expecting something a little better in this particular film. Not like Kenneth Branagh's 1994 film, but I expected something a little bit more. But we don't get that here, and that's what for me. That's what I believe is missing. That's because the film plays more like a gothic drama with some horror elements in it. And if some horror fans are looking for something like the 1994 film, I believe you're going to be disappointed. Now, for me, it's a decent entry in the latest adaptation of Mary Shelley's novel. Has some very nice acting, lavish set pieces. I guess you could say a satisfying conclusion that should please some horror fans. But for me, like I said before, it's a good, decent film, but there's something missing here. So I'm going to give Frankenstein 2025 only three out of the miser's five bloody coins. Like I said before, it's decent. It's great to look at. We got some lavishing set pieces. We got some nice acting from all the actors that are in this particular film. Some of the set pieces are fantastic. I love the costumes. I love the music. But there's something missing. Like I said before, I didn't like the creature design, and there's something missing in this particular film. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my review and video of Frankenstein 2025. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Frankenstein? It's playing on Netflix right now. What do you thought about it? Were you happy with this adaptation? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button. Ring that notification bell. That way we notified anytime I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I see you in my next video. I gotta stay safe out there.